That's about as good as I can do. My neck's kind of fused, so.
Woo! What's up, bro?
Hey, man. Welcome to VESTED. It is Thursday night at 6 p.m. We are here to inspire, create, and empower. This is my boy, Jamar. How you doing, man? What's up?
What's up, Coach D? What's up? What's up, VESTED? Coach D, what's up, bro? Love you, man. How are you?
We are a little split up today. If you can see, there is no tech team behind me because she's in Washington. So, tech team, I would like for you to do a cameo appearance so that you can show them why you're in Washington.
Yes, come on. What's up, tech team?
Tech team, it is. Look at that. Okay, it doesn't look as fancy as it's about to, but why don't we just give a little panorama to the VESTED community of what the Minas have gotten themselves involved in. Okay,
so, yeah, tell them what's behind me.
Those are our mushrooms. We bought a mushroom farm, and my wonderful tech team, lovely wife, Rebecca, is showing you we are growing shiitake, we are growing maitake, we are growing lion's mane, we're growing portobello, we're growing button mushrooms, and that's what we do now. So we inspire, create, and empower. We
where is it?
Mushrooms, you know, that's what we do.
Come on.
Jake behind me.
Did you say butt mushrooms?
Button.
Oh, I was like, man, mushrooms got butts. That's what I'm talking about.
Maybe.
Give me a butt mushroom.
They are closer to human than they are vegetable, so maybe.
Awesome. Man, I'm so proud of you guys. And hey, talking about it, making it happen, and giving the VESTED community sneak peek into the project you're working on. And it's so amazing, right? Because we talked about that a few weeks ago with our guests, talking about the power of mushrooms and how you're vested in that right now. So, man, great job, bro. Back to you.
Woo. Hey, look, that's how we met Brandon. And we were honored to have him on the show, and we're honored to have him as a partner and a consultant. And he's actually a part of the team. So we're in the business, and we're excited. And actually, this week, we didn't exactly have a guest lined up. And when that happens, community, Jamar asks me, and I ask Jamar when we speak in our production meeting, what's on our heart. And what was on my heart is obviously the road moving forward. So we're in this crazy space. And I think that a lot of us feel that way because maybe we've planted some seeds, and we talk about this idea of getting out of the pool of thoughts, feelings, and emotions that have gotten us to this place and thrusting ourselves forward into the great unknown with all these good thoughts. And, you know, you plant these seeds of where you want to go. But in doing so, it's tough because in a lot of ways, you're trying to create something from a place that you never really have before, in ways that you never have before, using things and thoughts and ideas that you haven't had. So you're not going to be immediately like the greatest at it. So there's going to be failure. There's going to be a learning curve. And I think we're all going through that. What we need to do is be able to get ourselves back up off the ground when it doesn't work out and realize that, man, you can bat 300 in Major League Baseball and go to the Hall of Fame. So that means 7 out of 10 times you're failing. And that's life, man. Mm-hmm. So we need to make sure, Jamar, that as we are mindful, as we move forward, that the awareness that we're developing, that we accept it as it is and not try to change it, and to realize that we've participated in creating it. And man, that ain't easy, bro.
Right. Well,
Tell me I'm not alone. Tell me I'm not alone. Where are you at with this, Jamar?
Here's the thing, Coach D. The name of the show, right? The road ahead. Choosing the thoughts that create joy. And unless God calls us to heaven or whatever the viewer, the VESTED community believes in, once we leave from the natural, I believe the game is over. But as long as we're here, as long as you're here, there's a road ahead. And that's what we're here to talk about today, man. So I love it, man. Let's just dive deep because we all got our road ahead because we're all still here right now.
Well, hey, Jamar, is it going to be easy? And if it's not, why not? Because to be honest, everything that's ever been easy to me, it almost felt weird because it's not like I want things to be hard, but it seems like without the resistance against something, without the deadline of when the project's due, without that boxing of the time, it's almost like, well, where do you put the fire and how do you heat it up? It's like, how do you do it? So you almost need that friction, and I don't desire it. It doesn't feel good, and especially when you're creating something very big from nothing with just your thoughts. It's tough, dude. So
Man.
let's get into Inspire. And I'd like to start with a video with one of my dudes that I've been trying to get on Vested for a while. He's going to get this conversation, Jamar. You'll know where I'm going. So let's drop the banner and how to have it. All right.
Obviously, anger, hatred, fear, these are destructive emotions.
Yes.
These destroy inner peace. Now, countermeasure these destructive emotions, the drugs, alcohol, no use. Only within the emotion, those constructive emotion, such as karuna, patience. You see, these emotion is the antidote of these destructive emotion. So, like physical health, you see, good health will not achieve through prayer, but to take care your body and avoid some germs or these negative things, and like immune system, these things to increase. Similarly, mental level also. You see, those firstly we should identify what kind of emotion is destructive, what kind of emotion is the antidote of this destructive emotion. That's the way training our mind.
So any tip for training the mind? Training the mind
That's the only way.
is the only way.
So not necessarily. So these days I'm telling you, see, people,
Sir.
they in education from kindergarten level, we usually include education about hygiene of physical. So now similarly, we should include hygiene of emotions. That is important, isn't it? So that's India
Thank you.
have the resources of this knowledge.
Man,
Right?
hygiene
Ha!
of the emotion.
There it is. The cool part, Jamar, is that you started with God, okay? Because that's something that you and I, from a Western perspective, we've been, our understanding of what God is, Western based. But we flipped the script right away and went to the Eastern side of things. And they live, the Buddhists, a little bit more from sets of principles. And the Dalai Lama has always inspired me because they kicked the man out of his own country for practicing compassion. There's more to it. Look it up. But at the same time, that's the bottom line. And instead of freaking out, he just picked his entire country up, people that were that had his back with the whole compassion thing, and they just up and left and went to India. And man, if you are a religious leader that's been reincarnated like 14 times and you are in this body where the regime pushes you out of your own country and your job is to spread compassion, you stay true to that? Okay. I feel like that's a good place to start when it comes to creating positive thoughts and relationship to purposeful action when stuff don't work out, man. You know what I mean? Talk to me. Jamal,
Man.
Dolly was legit, bro, right?
Hey, he said, what did he say? He said, we must train the mind. He said, we must train the mind. Man, you think about, and we keep going back to this last 15 months because it's still relevant to our time of the COVID reflection. But man, every single person, and no one was immune from this wind, W-I-N-D, that blew on all of us. We all went through a mental training ground to some degree, or even multiple degrees this last 15 months, man. So I'm glad we're here to talk about choosing the thoughts that create joy, because we got a lot of thoughts.
Well, Jamar, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm glad you brought that up because the 15-month thing, it's over. So now that it's over, it's like we're kind of looking around and where do we go? And things are not the same. And to be totally frank with you, I don't want them to be. I think that we have a lot of opportunity to create some serious improvement. I mean, when you go into isolation and you're able to start with looking at yourself and your own family and the things that you have just in your immediate circle, you almost rebuild. And then once you come out, it's like you have reestablished what's going on the inside. And as I was looking for videos today, it was almost weird because I wanted to start with something that inspired creative positive thoughts. But I swear to you, Jamar, there was like one video for every 15 to 20 about how to deal with negative thoughts. So I thought, man, if we got to do it, let's start with the Dalai Lama, because he seemed to have thrown it down. And I think he had some good things to say. But, explain to me why you picked the next video for Create, because you actually connected with that idea. And it was like, we try to do it from the perspective of vulnerability. And obviously we can rah-rah inspire, but at where we're at and what we're trying to do, it's sometimes it just doesn't feel good, man. And as I'm looking at this road ahead and I'm trying these things and I'm failing at them, and everybody sees where Rebecca's at, you don't see what we've been doing for the last 24 months, last 3 years, to just put ourselves in a position to capitalize on an opportunity like that. We failed a lot, Jamar. So please talk to me about why you wanted to inspire and create with the other side of things today. Come on, man, hit me with it.
Well, given contrast, just to make sure the vested community is tracking, there's two sides to our conversation, right? One side is really embracing the thoughts of joy. The other side is, okay, how do we make sure that we're not going the other direction? And that's where I really wanted us to focus on today, because I have a question for you, Coach D. Me and you, we go on a road trip and we're going to New York, but we're going the wrong way. How do we know that we're going the wrong direction if we're not aware that we're going the wrong direction?
Can't be. Gotta be mindful.
You can't. So that's why I like the contrast. It's like, hey, we can get lost if we go that way. It is very clear. Oh, shoot, I may already be lost. Oh, crap, I've been lost for weeks, months, years. Let me shift. Let me course correct. Let me adjust. So if we're not able to be aware, then how do we shift? Because not all things are common.
It hurts. It sucks. I don't like it. I look myself in the mirror and it's my fault, dude. Damn it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I feel like everybody's going through that. Work me out of this, man. How help me with this emotion, man. I feel like I want to explode sometimes. How am I cooling down? How am I gonna look at these mistakes that I made and make sense of them and move forward through them, and all these people that I might have hurt or frustrated? What am I gonna do?
Man, we're talking. See, now we're going deeper. This is a topic that it doesn't change someone's view just because they see this or they go to a Google link or they watch a cartoon video, but it will make someone more aware. And when we're aware, we can start the process of the transformation. And that's when we talk about the neurological pathway. So, vested community, if you haven't researched it, just do now. Stay on the surface. You don't need to go down to the scientific molecular cell level of neurological pathway. But basically, neurons that fire together wire together. So our thought pattern, the way we think, it creates this natural flow of thought where our thoughts just naturally flow a certain way. And because of our pattern of past experiences, because of our upbringing, because of the people, the influencers in our life, our parents, our grandparents, our guardians, because of what we've been exposed to environments, because of chemical imbalances in the brain, we all create these patterns of thought. And some people have a natural pattern of thought of focusing on the joy, of identifying the joyful thoughts, despite all the other thoughts. Other people, it's easier for them to see the thoughts of darkness, to see, like the Dalai Lama talked about, anger, fear, destruction. Some people see those thoughts as the primary thought because their neurological pathway has been created to see that. So what we're talking about, Coach D, I mean, we got to get in the lab and really dissect this thing. But that's why I really wanted to show the contrast of, okay, what do you do when you are aware? That's where we're talking at this point right now.
Good. And honestly, the acceptance part that you're talking about, it's a process that you work through. It's not something like an endpoint that you just show up at. So I really understand and feel where you're coming from when you wanted to bring this up. And when you sent that video, it was almost like steps to move towards creating it. And that obviously is where we'll segue to. But at the same time, from where we're at in feeling this way, I think it's important that with this awareness, we also have a little bit of patience for ourselves and accept the idea that no matter what has happened, here we are. And we get to choose now what we want to do. We get to move forward how we want to move forward. We got to be mindful and isolate some of those awesome thoughts that are worth moving towards. And in this isolation, hopefully we came up with some legitimate ones. But at that, now we're at the point on the road moving forward where we're going to try to isolate some thoughts, Jamar, that create some more joy. And, at multiple times before we ended up actually pulling the trigger on what we absolutely wanted to do, there was some shakeups, and I could have used a few tips on how to create that. So let's walk through and create now, and let's drop the video that you found, and then
let's go, man. Let's go.
Great thing. Do the video.
Negative thinking is one of the biggest obstacles we face in experiencing more happiness. But there's hope. Here are 2 strategies based on cognitive behavioral therapy to defeat your negative thinking. The first is to distract. When you're heading into a social gathering and you begin to wonder, what if I don't connect with anyone? Am I even likable? Do something that lifts your mood. Generating a positive emotion will counteract the anxiety you feel. Listen to a song that makes you smile, or take a moment to appreciate people in your life who love you. Positive emotions literally undo the effects of anxiety by lowering our heart rate and muscle tension. We often believe that our negative thinking is true, but in reality, our minds feed us messages that range from mild embellishments to outright lies. Here, we might prefer to combat. Imagine yourself in court. You are the prosecutor, and your negative thought is the defendant. He's guilty, and you know it, but he's pleading not guilty and sticking to his story. Your task is to get the judge to hear your side. So when the negative thought shouts out, "You're not good enough at your job," you need to consult the evidence you have at your disposal to prove it wrong. Argue back with the strongest piece of evidence you can find. For example, I am good enough because every performance review I've had has been positive. I'm currently being considered for that promotion, and my boss told me last week how much she enjoys working with me. Bring your best version of a tough lawyer to that courtroom and convince the judge that the negative thought doesn't deserve his or her attention. After all, the judge is you. Both of these strategies, distract and combat, are skills anyone can learn and get better at with practice. Remember, with each negative thought you defeat, you've successfully earned your own happiness.
Happify. Thank you for that. Thank you. Man. So simple, Coach T.
Right.
But here's the thing. In that example, what if the character is not aware that he's having these destructive thoughts?
Right.
How do we distract and how do we combat if we're not aware that those thoughts are happening? Because if those thoughts are just normal, that's just how it is. I'm not even aware that I'm thinking I am less than, because that's just how I think all the time.
Yeah, man. You got to be mindful. I mean, I feel like that's the sifting process. That's where you start. To me, when I started to be mindful, I was like, oh my God, like a prison right in here. All of my negative thoughts have busted down all the walls, and they've taken over. It's a mess. And then I started to isolate some good ones. And like they did in the video, you recognize certain opportunities where you can kind of wrangle it, and you can figure out a pathway to get you to where you want to go. And accepting some of the things that you did to get you where you're at is part of the process. It's not easy. It's uncomfortable, but it's just part of the process. It is. Right.
No, man. And that's why I always want to commend you and tell you how much I love you, bro, because you look at the path that you've been on, but you look at your vibration that you have in the world, right? it's very easy for someone who has challenges to just laser focus on the challenges and give the vibration to the world of like, hey, here's my challenges. That's all I see. So that's why I got so much love for you, man. And that's why I'm here with you and on Vested and creating as we fly through the stratospheres, because you got a lot of light, bro. You got a lot of sunshine in there, because you fight battles and slay demons that most people will never even understand. But I appreciate you. I appreciate your heart, your mindset. Because every time I talk to you, man, like our energy, our flow, our frequency, and it doesn't mean you're not going through a challenge. It doesn't mean you're not feeling a certain way. You're a human being, so am I. But I always want to tell you how much I love you, man, because
thank you. That fills me up. That's good.
You can't give something we don't have.
There we go, man. And, you know, you being a part of my life, this is the I Am We Are process that, I mean, if you have a light bearer with another light bearer, you guys can just fill each other up. That's the type of loop you want to get yourselves involved in. Find things and people in your lives that make you feel good, that fill you up, that give you energy so you can give it right back to them. And when it feels good and you're moving in that direction, you just want more of it. You don't really think about the stress. You don't really think about all the other stuff. You just want more of the good stuff to keep happening. So I don't know, man. To me, what I've kind of, at this point, it was an idea, and then a feeling, an idea, and a feeling, and now it's an emotion. But Jamar, I am a better way believer. That is absolutely purposefully the most significant thing that I am and that I can do. By believing in a better way, Jamar, I literally created it. I made it happen. I always thought that it would look different, but at the time where I surrendered and I completely let go and knew energetically in my heart what I wanted to feel, it just magnetically started to happen. And it was not easy. It was so uncomfortable. It was a metamorphosis, Jamar, that I pray. I'm glad I went through it, but it was not fun. And I don't want to go through another one. But I can't say that specifically, because what I got on the other side of it was an understanding, was a feeling, was a creation within me that has now empowered me in a way that it's like I feel like I've arrived in a way that I am entirely me and imperfectly who I am. And I don't want to say I'm not going to screw up, but even the screw ups, I'm getting a lot of value out of right now. It's a screw up to me is now an undesired feeling. You get into something and it's, how can I not feel like, let's learn when it feels nicer. I want icing, not rust and friggin' lemons. It's like, oh man, like there's two different ways to experience them, but I'm learning how to value both. And it's just, this is a really opening, expanding, frustrating experience, dude.
Man, I got a question for you, Coach T.
Hi.
What is it like when we're around people who may not practice trying to focus on having majority joyful thoughts? What is it like to be around people who are on the latter side of that thought process?
What an epic question, because the way that I can answer that is maybe through another reflection or another question, because when you're involved in the pool of negativity and the negative thoughts, like you don't necessarily have to look around for other people to be involved in that with. They just seem to magnetically be around, right? So what you do is you just keep going back and forth and back and forth. And my challenge at one point was being in that pool for whatever reason didn't feel right, or I just got sick of it all of a sudden. I got sick of feeling crappy. I got sick of feeling like this would never end, and there was endless drama, and I just got tired of it. It was a thought addiction that I want to be joyful. At the core of who I am, I like life. I like me. I like the sun and fun and doing cool things. So the challenge on the other side of once you are feeling that way and once you do experience joy is the rest of the world in the I Am We Are process. So the challenge at first when you're having the negativity is figuring out how to be positive. And then once you figure out how to be positive, the next challenge is understanding that the world isn't as one yet, and everybody in the world doesn't have the same pursuit of positivity or of joy, or they're different places in their pursuit, and that you have to have patience with them now. And it's like, it's really easy to jump back into that pool, Jamar, that whole neural programming pool, right?
Man.
Right? What I did there, boy?
Man, I love it.
Yeah. Because we're entrained, man. We're entrained. People call it kind of like a dry drunk. So you can stop drinking, but you stop the habitual habits that made you an alcoholic. So it's like you have to choose, Jamar. Tell them why we did Tell them why we picked choose, because you really do have all these thoughts, good, bad, or indifferent. But why do we have to choose, Jamar?
Well, I want to use this example because here's my phone. Here's my messages right here. I want to share this with you because this just happened today. About 2 hours ago, I was talking to a friend of mine and I was asking her, she went through a major physical transformation. And I said, question one, what was the catalyst that led you to that place before the transformation?
Nice.
Question two, what was the inspiration? What inspired you to transform? And this was her response. She says, oh, thank you so much. She says, I was tired of being just blah, B-L-A-H, all the time. I had always been an athlete and I had just gotten stuck in a bad relationship. I had got stuck in a bad relationship with no motivation. Once I got out of it, I was ready to get back to a happy spot. Now here in that example, I share that, Coach T, because you said, why choose? She was choosing to stay in this relationship with no motivation. That was what her words were she considered a bad, looking back, a bad relationship. But she chose to stay. But after the relationship, for however it ended, she chose to be happy. And that's when the transformation occurred. So you're saying, why choose, Coach T? Because it all comes down to the person. The person gets to choose, we get to choose how we want to think. We get to choose what we deserve. We get to choose, is this serving us or not serving us? And that right there, man, I think that is a very powerful place to be when you know that you have all the choice. And I just think people forget that people forget to choose, that you have the choice vested to choose your joy. You can choose it, no one else. So, man, that's why choice and choosing is on the focal point.
Okay, look, so I'm with you. We're vested, right? We just heard Jamar give us a damn inspiring somewhere to start. You know what I mean? That's great. But okay, so vested's over now, and I shut my computer and I have dinner, all right? And what's empowering about all these mistakes that I've made? What's empowering about all the stuff that I've done up to this point that's got me to where I'm at, other than Jamar just firing me up now that the computer's closed? I have to look myself in the mirror, put my pajamas on, go to bed, and deal with all these thoughts that are in my head, okay? And most of them at this point in time aren't great. So, Jamar, I think the next section of our show, in terms of empowerment, will at least suggest some ideas about when things suck, at least a way to look at it and find some value in the suck, man, because it's there. Let's accept it, man.
Yes.
Idea that all the reasons why we failed we were there and we did something in relationship to why we failed. Even if it wasn't our fault, we were there. You know what I mean? Like,
Coach, you already know, man. You already know, as being an athlete yourself, you already know that there's talking about looking at the play in the playbook, and then there's actually being in the game. So right now, we can talk about the playbook all day long right now. But when you close the laptop, you ate dinner, you got your PJs on, you laying in bed, you in the game.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's do the empowering thing. Let's just sneak into this. Let's just sneak in this one. We don't have to, All right, let's kick this video off, and it's fun, it's ugly, and it's exciting. So how you do that? Let's see it.
Fun.
Okay, that should do it.
It's so exciting. Let her rip, Lewis.
Quickly, Uncle Joe can't hold on much longer. Everybody ready?
Go, Carl. Oh no. No. I didn't know it. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
You failed! And it was awesome. Exceptional.
Outstanding. I've seen better. From failing, you learn. From success, not so much.
If I gave up every time I failed, I never would have made the meatball cannon.
I never would have made my fireproof pants. Still working out the kinks.
Like my husband always says. I propose a toast to Lewis and his brilliant failure. May it lead to success in the future.
Ah, man. That's good, Coach D.
You know, I got them cartoons, Jamar, you know. Look, man, we win or we learn. We win or we learn. We win or we learn. It's a perspective. It's a perspective shift. All we do is look at it for what it is and flip the coin over. Cash the coin in for value. Okay? Because on the other side, there's something there. It wouldn't have happened if there wasn't value to extract from it. If all things would have gone according to plan, then you would have won and it would have felt good. If it did not, there's a reason for that too. There's a reason, Jamar, in sport that the same team doesn't win every year. I mean, you have dynasties, but it's because they're doing something right. It's because as a group, they're making the right choices collectively together, and it's not an accident that Tom Brady has 7. The man knows how to bring people together. So in the end, but they still lose, Jamar. They still miss the playoffs, Jamar. You know, last year, LeBron won the championship. This year, they lost in the first round. So how is LeBron now going to go back with all his championships and losing the first round of the playoffs and find ways to move forward and choose joy?
Look at this, Coach D. Look at this, right? Check this out real quick. As we're on this topic, I want to share this.
Got a fan, bro. You always got a necklace.
I want to share this with y'all. Can't see it. Wait. Let me turn it. Keep moving. Oh, you can't. You barely see it. Keep moving forward. Okay. The point is, I want to. Tech team just had a question. She said, "What if we aren't aware that some of our thoughts are negative? Some of them are sneaky thoughts." Now, here's the thing, Coach D. David Goggins can't hurt me. If you don't know who David Goggins is right now, it's people living under the rock. But David Goggins talks about the accountability mirror. And I think the only way to truly identify our thought life is to really, 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 really be honest with self. Because I look at this here, if someone, and here's the challenge for the vested community. If someone asked you who's the most joyful person you know, why wouldn't it be us? Why wouldn't it be as us giving that vibration as, you know, I'm the most positive, optimistic, joyful person I know. So unless we really want to take inventory of our thoughts, we won't be aware. And we make all kind of excuses. We blame and we justify. We make excuses, we blame, and we justify. And those three hindrances stop us from taking inventory of who we really are. So to answer your question, tech team, it takes the person to be ready to really address themselves. And that right there is a line. That's a whole nother show we got to talk about. But let
me see if I can wrap my head around what you just said. For the most part, we all would like to be that happy person. So in essence, why aren't we? I think that it might be the underlying answer to tech team's questions. Is this stuff we're unaware of. We're punching through trying to make it look like it's all good and we're inspired and we're creating and we're empowering. But at the end of the day, I think you continue to shine light, Jamar, on this idea that we need to be aware of what's really happening. And the only way we're going to do that is by mindfully choosing to accept things as they are. So, you know, when we want to look at people and say, be vested and move forward with purposeful action, it's a little difficult when you don't understand why you're not really happy. And then all of a sudden, once you start to become aware, you want to beat yourself up because you're the reason why you're not happy. And it's your thoughts and your feelings and your emotions, and you got to change them all. It's really hard. And you don't know how. So I don't know, man, the patience to be aware of ourselves. I mean, is that what you're saying, Jamar?
Oh, check this out. You know the thought I just had?
What's that?
As you're talking? Now, we're both human beings, and so is everyone who's listening to this. So I would go out on a limb to say every single person who will ever hear this message has either had BO, body odor, or bad breath at some point in time in your life. Come on, let's be real. Now, here's the question. Have you ever been exposed to another person who's had BO and bad breath and they don't even know it?
Oh, yeah.
Well, okay, it's freaking obvious, but they're not aware.
Where you going with this?
My point is.
You don't know if I have bad breath. I'm on
Bro, you got good breath, bro. I smell it. You got good breath. But my point is the awareness. Like, you can say, hey, we can talk about all day long. This is how you be aware. This is how you be aware. This is how you be aware. Until the person chooses to be aware, it don't matter what kind of freaking game plan we got.
Oh, let's slow it down. None of us want bad breath. None of us want well, no, seriously, let's look at it specifically. Okay. There's entire industries. Okay. We all have a toothbrush. We all have a sticky deodorant somewhere in our house. Jamar, the only reason or lack of reason, because of all the other things, that you wouldn't put on deodorant or that you wouldn't have mouth hygiene is because there's so many other things that are occupying your mind that you didn't get around to it. So when there are thoughts that you are unaware of that might be negatively vibrationally affecting you, you forget to brush your teeth, man. You forget to put on deodorant, something very simple. It just means that your cup is filled, man, with all of this subconscious, which means underneath the surface stuff. You have trained your mind to energetically attach you to all these things that are sucking you dry of your energy to the point where you got some funk breath, man. You guys do something about it, you know? Or you were doing a hard disservice to everybody around you, you know?
Oh man, you just slaying people, just laying people out. You know what I mean? People got gas mask around you.
But look, we can all do something about it. Like,
yes,
because we want to, because we all want, I feel like, to be a better version of ourselves. And I think that even in a world of evil, like, and I know people are here, you know, light and dark, to have balance in this world, and happiness includes all of us, everybody, good, bad, or indifferent, okay? They have their own moral weight as well. And at some point, I feel like moving towards something to expand to a bigger self, to maximize what you're here to do, is what we all want to do, man. And so we gravitate towards the energetic things, whether it's, you know, light or something else that is going to help us unfold what we have on the inside. And I think that it is very empowering to know that we have the choice to isolate thoughts and to be able to move forward towards expanding why we're here. Because we get a shot and then it's over, as far as I know. And I'm here on like trip 2 because, I mean, I used to be standing around, I'm sitting around, but I'm still thinking, man. And I'm still turning the wheel, because I like the idea that I have a road to pursue. And I think that by planting seeds and by being inspired by having some thoughts worth pursuing, it's made life worth living, man. And by believing that there was a better way, that's how I've created it, man. And I thought it would be this meat suit that figured it out, but it turns out that that's part of it, but there's a lot of other things going on, man. And that's what keeps me going. And that's how I stay positive. And that's how I get through things that are less desirable, man. And to me, like, there's more life to be lived and there's more fun to be had, man. So let's get to it, man. I want to be all
Come on.
You know, man?
Come on, baby. There we go.
We're trying to get this wrap-up thing going on, Jamar, like, and do like a takeaway here and there. You start off, man. Let's bull it up. Like, you want to throw them out there, tech team, or you want us to guess? How are we going to do this?
Well, I mean, look at this here. We're working on this new system of identifying nuggets from our guests, right? But since today is me and you, what comes to my mind is what we talked about, man. Is really let's keep it very simple. How do we choose to create thoughts of joy, right? To choose those thoughts if we're not aware.
You take
right?
where you are. You must be mindful and aware of what.
Come on!
Boom! Good. All right.
Boom! Right. So we got the awareness going on. But D, you make a very, 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 very powerful perspective, right? If the cup is so full, right? And you don't even have the capacity, the bandwidth. How do we do it?
Well, I meditate, Jamar. It helps me do mental inventory. One of the people that I use to meditate with is a guy on YouTube named Kenneth Soares, and he actually inspired the quote line that we did our banner with: think thoughts that create more joy. I mean, it really is that simple. I'm really tripping out lately about this thought realm that exists before thought. I know that sounds weird, but like there's something out there energetically. There's this empty space, and whatever it's filled with that is of pre-thought. We haven't had that thought yet. Like I haven't had the thought that I'm speaking about right now until I have it so I can speak it, right? But where does all that other stuff exist before that happens, man? And I think that if you were to put the energy out there to think those thoughts that are going to not only create more joy, whether they be a thought that you already have or a thought that you're going to have, it puts you in a vibrational place where you're accepting of the idea that you're going to move forward with positivity. You're going to make the choice on this new open road to do something that helps you expand from the inside out, that helps your light shine. And then to have patience with the idea that no one's perfect. You know, if you bat 300 in the Major League Baseball and you go to the Hall of Fame, that means you failed 7 out of 10 times. And what you did with those 7 out of 10 times is you learned how to get better so that the next time you had an opportunity to learn and expand yourself, you could seize it and capitalize on it, whether you won or you learned. You know?
Wow. Powerful. Mic drop. Mic drop.
I ain't got a mic.
Man, Coach, I love you, bro. Thank you for bringing this topic to the discussion today. And man, I just want to say thank you.
Well, thank you too, man. Jordan, Jake, Troy, my love. Hey, man. I love all you guys. We are all vested. We are all going to make this all happen. We are making it happen. Jamar, here we are doing it again. Vested. Please like and subscribe. I remember.
And share. Come on.
Thumbs up too much. That's a quadriplegic thumb right there. That's a thumbs up.
Man. Come on, you got this, bro.
Okay, so hey, Jamar, wrap us up, dude. Give us a takeaway and ask us a question.
Hey, man, I just tell you, I love you, Coach G. Thank you, Tech Team, and thank you, Vested Community, for investing time with us. But today we talked about the road ahead. You know, the road is wide open for all of us. I truly believe that our best days are ahead. Does it mean it's going to be easy? No. Right? There's going to be adversity, challenges, setback. But we get to choose our thoughts. We get to choose the joy. We get to make the decision to be joyful. Because when we're joyful, we give that energy and that vibration to others. And the world we're in today, the world needs more people who are tapping into that joyful vibration. So whatever you're doing in your life, whatever vision you have, whatever dreams you have, whatever you're pursuing, do it joyfully. But more importantly, here's the question. Are you vested?